Welcome back to the channel, Coolers. Barcelona's summer transfer window is heating up, and we've got a lot to unpack. From Rashford and Rooney Bardghji dazzling in pre-season, to Joffre Torrens rising from La Masia, and even whispers of Gabriel Jesus and Nicholas Jackson joining the Blaugrana ranks, it's a transfer frenzy. Plus, Marc Bernal is nearing his long-awaited return, Oscar Mingueza could be about to bring in unexpected millions, and Barcelona's smart squad building is finally taking shape under Hansi Flick. Strap in, Coolers, this is going to be a wild ride through everything happening at Camp Nou right now. Barcelona have had a pretty solid summer transfer window so far. They've brought in Joan Garcia, Rooney Bardghji, and of course Marcus Rashford, and all three wasted no time making an impact. In their first preseason game against Vissel Kobe over in Japan, the trio looked sharp, but it was the young Swedish talent Rooney Bardghji who really stole the show. His performance was electric, full of flair, confidence, and the kind of spark Barça fans love to see. One advantage the Catalan club has enjoyed in recent years is La Masia's tendency to produce one or two first-team ready talents each season. While many believed Barcelona needed to sign a new left-back this summer, Joffre Torrens has shown he is ready to make the step up. Therefore, from now until the end of the transfer window, unless a market opportunity arises or an unexpected need emerges in a specific position, Barcelona are unlikely to make further signings. As things stand, Hansi Flick has a strong squad to work with. However, one area the club may focus on is succession planning ahead of the summer of 2026, when they could be in the market for a new striker. Robert Lewandowski is 36 and may not have much time left at the top level. The soon-to-be 37-year-old Polish veteran is entering the final year of his contract at Barcelona, and the club may already be considering potential reinforcements ahead of next summer. Gabriel Jesus on the radar. Now, as per caught offside, Barcelona are among several clubs monitoring the situation of Arsenal striker Gabriel Jesus. The Brazilian is currently recovering from an ACL injury and could slip down the pecking order at the Emirates following the arrival of Victor Gyökeres. Clubs such as Tottenham Hotspur, Inter Milan, and Newcastle United are also keeping a close eye on the 28-year-old. Interest in Jesus isn't limited to Europe, with Brazilian clubs like Palmeiras and Flamengo also monitoring his recovery closely. The report mentions that Barcelona are considering the former Man City attacker as part of their transition plan for the post-Lewandowski era. However, no formal bids have been made yet by any interested side, and talks are unlikely to progress until his recovery status becomes clearer. Assessing the risks, is Gabriel Jesus the right profile for Barcelona? Gabriel Jesus is a very decent player in his own right and has contributed significantly to both Manchester City and, subsequently, Arsenal. He is hard-working, self-sacrificing in defensive duties, and often used as a winger as well. However, if there's one thing he is not, it's a clinical goal scorer. Despite being in what should be the prime years of his career, Jesus has yet to develop consistent finishing ability. Recovering from an ACL injury at this stage will also be a difficult task. For this reason, signing him might not be a wise decision for Barcelona at the moment. He is also not a suitable replacement for Lewandowski. The coming weeks and months should offer a clearer picture of what the future holds for Jesus. Hopefully, Barcelona will choose to pass on this opportunity, but we will have to wait and see how things unfold. Marc Bernal was a notable absentee for Barcelona in their recent 3-1 win over Vissel Kobe, where a host of youngsters made a noticeable impact. Having struggled with a serious injury over the past 12 months or so, Bernal is eager to get back to the pitch so he can continue his progress. Bernal had almost made his breakthrough at Barcelona last season before his progression was halted by the injury. When will Bernal return to action? According to Diario Sport, Bernal is slowly closing in on full fitness, and it won't be long before the youngster makes his return to the pitch. In fact, Bernal could make his return to the pitch in Barcelona's Joan Gamper Trophy match against Como in early August. While Bernal traveled with the team for their Asian tour, head coach Hansi Flick opted not to include him in the squad against Vissel Kobe, nor is he expected to feature in the following matches in Korea. However, Bernal was seen training intensively on the pitch prior to the game, showing clear signs of recovery and determination to return. The club are encouraged by the midfielder's impeccable recovery process and expects his comeback to come sooner rather than later. Flick's confidence in Bernal remains unwavering, although the crowded midfield may mean a gradual reintroduction to competitive action. Should Bernal regain his best form, he has the potential to be a significant asset for the Blaugrana this season, especially as an alternative to someone like Frenkie de Jong and Marc Casado. The coming weeks, therefore, could prove to be critical for Bernal as he gradually looks to regain not just his fitness but also his confidence. FC Barcelona always tends to keep an eye out on the market for possible opportunities. After all, the club's financial situation requires them to be a bit more cautious than others when it comes to expending their resources. Fortunately, Barcelona seems to have a good eye for catching promising deals. However, at times, even exit operations can prove to be crucial if they are negotiated right. For La Blaugrana, they can prove to be financially beneficial through a number of different ways. While it is better to get a significant transfer fee up front at times, it is also important to know when a sell-on or rights-based percentage is better as well. Barcelona keeping a close watch on Mingueza's future. Barcelona are quietly monitoring the situation of former player Oscar Mingueza, and for good reason. The Spanish right-back, currently at Celta Vigo, has a contract running until 2026, but it's looking more and more likely that he won't renew. According to Mundo Deportivo, Celta aren't willing to sell unless his €20 million release clause is triggered. That might sound steep, but for Barcelona this could actually be great news. Thanks to a 50% sell-on clause they included when he left the club, Barça would pocket half of any future transfer fee. With clubs in Russia showing strong interest and teams from Italy, France, and even the Premier League also circling, a deal could be in the works soon. If a transfer goes through, Barcelona could receive a decent cash injection, without having to lift a finger. There were even recent whispers that Barça might consider bringing him back as a backup right-back. But whether or not he returns, the club won't mind the financial boost if Celta decides to cash in this summer. Chelsea striker Nicolas Jackson has become one of the most talked about players of the summer transfer window, with interest pouring in from across Europe. With Chelsea's recent signings of young forwards Liam Delap and Joao Pedro, the Blues are now open to letting Jackson leave the club. Sources close to the agent industry have informed Caught Offside. Chelsea have set a €50 million asking price for the 24-year-old Senegalese striker. However, several interested clubs believe that valuation is excessive given his current output. Despite scoring just 13 goals across all competitions last season for Chelsea, that hasn't stopped some of Europe's top clubs from showing serious interest in the striker. Barcelona are leading the race to sign Nicolas Jackson. Barcelona have emerged as one of the most serious contenders, identifying Jackson as a potential backup for Robert Lewandowski. The club's sporting director Deco is expected to initiate talks with Chelsea over a one-year loan with an option to buy. Given Jackson's experience in La Liga with Villarreal, he is seen as a good fit for Barcelona's ongoing squad rebuild. In Serie A, both Juventus and Napoli have expressed interest but are struggling to match Chelsea's price. Napoli initially made contact through his agents but pulled out of negotiations after completing the signing of Lorenzo Luca. AC Milan submitted an offer as well, but Jackson rejected the move due to his preference to continue playing in the Premier League. That decision keeps the door open for English clubs. Newcastle United have opened talks and see Jackson as a strong backup to Alexander Isak. Meanwhile, Aston Villa manager Unai Emery, who knows Nicolas Jackson well from their time together at Villarreal, is reportedly very interested in a reunion. But Chelsea are treading carefully when it comes to selling to Premier League rivals. They're not completely ruling it out, but it would have to be the right deal. Manchester United, for their part, have ramped up their scouting efforts as they look to revamp their attacking line. As for Arsenal, Jackson's representatives did reach out, but the Gunners decided to go in a different direction, sealing a move for Victor Gyökeres from Sporting instead. FC Barcelona has no problems giving opportunities to players that earn the right to play. After all, commitment and dedication to the cause are two traits that are highly valued within the club. The players that manage to showcase them properly tend to often excel at Barcelona. That is also why the club has started to pursue operations in the market where the players themselves show an inclination to join. As long as there is a desire to succeed and join Barcelona, the club is willing to offer those players the opportunity to shine. One standout name this summer has been Rooney Bardghji. The 19-year-old Swedish winger, who joined Barcelona from Denmark just a few weeks ago, has been working relentlessly to earn his place under Hansi Flick. And so far, it's paying off. His preseason performances, especially the display against Vissel Kobe, have been nothing short of impressive. Rooney Bardghji's commitment lets him shine. However, according to Sport, there are various factors that have allowed the young winger to adapt to the system so quickly and look so impressive early on. From his injury recovery to his dedication to his training, there are many things that have helped Rooney Bardghji to stand out. Primarily, the player first made sure to take care of his recovery properly last season. After having suffered an ACL injury and having featured quite briefly for FC Copenhagen, the Swedish player dedicated himself to a proper recovery until March of this year to minimize any chances of a relapse or recurrence of his injury. Beyond that, the player essentially had no vacations to enjoy either. While other players enjoyed their days off to spend some time with their families and friends, Bardghji was dedicated to using the months of June and July to essentially have a pre-season of his own and strengthen his knee muscles. Moreover, he also worked on improving his physical conditioning as much as possible. That is why, as per the report, the player has been able to impress and surprise the coaching staff with his conditioning and adaptation so far during pre-season training. For Bardghji, this was simply the reward of the effort that he has put in over the last few months, eager to learn since joining Barcelona. However, that is not all that he has done to impress for Barcelona recently. In fact, ever since joining the club, the player has reportedly been quite attentive and cautious during training. Essentially like a sponge, he soaked in knowledge from coaching staff and his teammates as he always remains eager to learn. Consequently, his dedication and commitment paid off as Hansi Flick took him on the tour to Asia. Now, it seems quite likely that he could even remain as a part of the first team as long as he continues to perform like the way he did against Vissel Kobe. Barcelona's transfer window isn't just about big names, it's about smart business, La Masia magic and long-term planning. Whether it's Gabriel Jesus, Nicolas Jackson, or the brilliance of Rooney Bardghji and Jofre Torrents, the Blaugrana are building something special under Hansi Flick. But now we want to hear from you. Should Barcelona sign a new striker now or wait until 2026? Is Rooney Bardghji ready to be a first-team regular? And what should Barca do with Gabriel Jesus? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Smash that like button if you're excited for the new season, and don't forget to subscribe for all the latest Barcelona news, transfers and match updates. Visca el Barça, and see you in the next video.